So let me ask for you guys, because by that point, at least the point where I realized that OkayPlayer was just bigger than a website for some acts to post announcements on, you also just have to sift through the many personalities because you guys are on a constant blind date. Like there are many people to whom I've had interactions with that, you know, you can't see what they look like, or you don't, you know, I don't know what trolling is or none of that stuff. But you guys have to find each other.
It's the story of the court. So like, what's the story
Yeah,
of the
like
courting
how did you
of
guys,
y'all two?
because even in my mind, even though you are definitely a charter member, I do have, at least in my social circle, I have a like an inner circle, like around one, around two, and you were always around 3 person. Like we never, even though we talked a lot, not to the level of.
No, for sure.
So how did you two meet?
Yeah, it was. I think this was back in like it was 2002.
Yeah, I think 01.
01 probably.
We first sort of found each other in the same topic.
In the same topics, yeah. So with him, like, and I didn't know anything about this guy. I didn't know. We would even joke with the crew, like, yo, is Nicolay, is it a girl? Is he a girl? Like it was just a name on the screen. We had no idea. And so, but I feel like I remember it was a Radiohead topic, and he jumped in the thread. But I just kept seeing him in threads, and I would notice that he had a lot of the same taste that I did. Like we liked a lot of the same shit. And so I was like, okay, I kind of fuck with him. And so then one day he just came and was like, yo, this is a new track by me. And I'm like, okay. And so I listened and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And I reached out and I was like, hey man, would you mind if I did something to this? You know, we got MCs over here. Like what, you know, he was like, nah, man, go for it. And so
the famous DM.
Yeah, we're hitting DM. Yeah, we put it's in the LP doc. And so the first time we did the first record was, I think, was it Light It Up? Was that the first one?
Yeah, that was the very first one.
Yeah.
Light It Up and Nick's Groove
And
was
Nick's
a
Groove.
twofer that we did. And if I may rewind, like I think for me, I think I might have a unique perspective on OkayPlayer as a European.
Yes, I want to know how you came into the community.
Like it was sort of finding connection with this completely different universe. Like I bought Voodoo in 2002. It must have been April, right? Something like that, May?
It came out in January.
Okay, well, I may have been late. But either way, like I was familiar with the roots, but I hadn't really ever heard full albums. I was familiar with Common, but Voodoo was...
So Voodoo brought you to OkayPlayer?
Voodoo brought me to OkayPlayer because I looked at the booklet, and because I was very interested, and it said OkayPlayer, and I had no idea. So Voodoo brought me to OkayPlayer. That summer, I saw you guys twice on the Voodoo tour. Once in The Hague for the North Sea Jazz Festival, and once in Belgium, which was an open air daytime show.
Didn't Third Base open up for us?
I don't remember that. I know Slum Village opened for y'all in Belgium. It wasn't with JD, but it was. It was a religious experience in many ways in Belgium specifically because it was during the daytime. So it was it hit very directly, and I remember you guys hitting Send It On, and I was crying. Like, I'm not saying that just to blow smoke. It was that.
Yo, dog.
And so, like, 2000 is when I learned about OkayPlayer, but then it took me a while to get to the boards because that was sort of the second layer. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it took me a while to get to the boards, and then it took me a while to go from lurking to posting. I signed up. I got a username. At that point, I was going under Nicolay, which is my third first name. I have 3. I was baptized. I have 3 first names, and it seemed like the most international sounding one. Right. So I registered that Nicolay Music username.
What did they call you back home? Just on
Matthias. Matthias, yeah.
What's all 3 names? Just go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, Matthias is like what the person behind the screen. I guess the man behind the curtain. Okay. So it took me, I think, a year maybe to go from discovering the site to realizing that there was the lesson particularly. Like, I've never been on any of the other, like, I was specifically a lesson head. Like, I didn't really do general. I didn't really do.
So the lesson, so he's basically saying that the thing that brought him to our listeners out there, we would have boards, and the boards was like a playground,
different subsections,
or like a nightclub, and then.
But the lesson was for the snobs, the music snobs who knew tall.
I was on the lesson.
I was on the lesson
more than I was supposed to be on. Like, the general,
Okay
not
artists.
the general, the okay artists. Like
Nobody went to OK Artists.
Right.
Like, nobody went to OK Artists.
Newbies would go there, like, is this really you, and that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
people either went to General when they were trying to get some.
General was Rikers.
Yeah.
Yeah, General was Rikers Island.
That's Gen Pop.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Yeah, that
Right,
shit was the
and then the
jungle.
lessons were for like the dweebs.
Yeah.
And so for me, like just in Europe, I didn't have connection with a lot of people that liked the music that I liked. For a variety of reasons. I'm not really sure why. You earlier asked like what was my favorite or what was my first interaction with hip hop, and it was actually 3 Feet High and Rising.
Okay.
89, I guess.
Yeah, 89.
And that like I was kind of a metalhead before that time, like ironically. But something about sampling really appealed to me. And so I heard 3 Feet High and Rising, and then I started getting into, the first Tribe album and stuff like that. So like fast forward 10 years, I'm full on hip hop. Like and so I think I didn't have a lot of people around me